What is happening here? S&P is actually lower here today. Following yesterday's sell-off, we actually saw some follow through. And this is kind of unique because recently we've seen this pattern just be so incredibly consistent within the stock market, which is basically each time the market drops, there's a huge pop to follow, right? And, on a longer term basis, that is generally how stocks move. They typically do go up, but not always, and not for such crazy win streaks like we've recently seen. They usually don't last for very long. But today we might just be seeing a little bit of a rollover here in the stock market for the first time in quite some time. That being said, it's too soon to say that. You know why? Because we have still, I want to show you something on the S&P 500. This is December. This is the biggest pullback that we've had in some time, 2.75%. We have had such a significant period of time since we've had a 5% correction in the stock market. The last time that really happened in the S&P 500 was October of 2023. Okay, so check this out, guys. A 5% pullback in the S&P 500 is not only common, but very usual, very, very normal to have a 5% correction. You can see, you can pick out any time you'd like in the S&P 500 since 2023's October. We have gone basically straight up. We have had no significant pullbacks. I would say that if you actually finally get something here where we close underneath this level of structure, this level of support, we may finally get that pullback. Now, what's cool here is that I have very little index exposure currently. I am still long gold and oil, which are making me feel really, really smart right now. I gotta say, I wish my trading always looked this good. I said this yesterday. Please understand that this isn't, I'm not trying to come across as arrogant or anything right now, but I have some really good trades going on. And while this is not, an everyday, all the time experience for me, this is kind of cool to see some nice follow through on the commodities. Meanwhile, you're seeing the stock market finally get a bit of a an inhale, right? It's been doing a lot of exhaling, and what I mean by that is just gone straight up, like exhale, 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 inhale, exhale. Markets move like that. That's usually how they progress. They don't go straight up forever. So that being said, with oil, what's my next move here? Well, I need to trail a stop loss, right? So I need to move my stop loss into profit further. I will do that here momentarily. The key thing here that I love about this oil chart here, and gold for that matter, is that we are breaking through key levels of resistance. And breaking through key levels of resistance is a very symptomatic thing of a really strong bull market. And I think we might be seeing commodities really start to pick up in 2024. I'm not, early to that by any means, right? Because, oil's been making a move. It's actually, if you take a look at the sectors of the US stock market right now, for the year 2024, energy is actually, I think it's the top performer. Here's XLE.
It's our Edge Finder anniversary sale. If you want 40% off the Edge Finder, the absolute best deal of the year, don't wait and head on over to a1trading.com to chat with one of our representatives live right now. This is the biggest discount of the year, and we have so many new features to share with you, like our Smart Money Indicator that directly compares COT data and retail data against each other, or our brand new data scanners with even more useful information and accurate scoring than ever before. Now is the perfect time to get this powerful trading tool because the 40% discount won't last forever. Celebrate the Edge Finder anniversary by grabbing yourself a copy today on our website, a1trading.com.
XLE is the energy ETF. These are companies like Exxon and Chevron, and surprisingly, this sector is actually the top performing sector in the US stock market this year so far. So anyways, back to what I was saying about oil here. Like I said, I do need to trail a stop. What I mean by that, for newer traders in the audience, what I'm saying when I say trail a stop is this was my initial order to get out of the trade. If I was wrong, I bought over here, right? So I bought, put a stop loss here. Market has made a good move here now. and my stop loss is trailed here, but I need to trail it further. My next spot to trail it is probably like 82.5. Before I continue to talk about my winners, let me also just point out a loser that I'm dealing with. TLT totally reversed on me, and this is not going so swell. I'll come back to this. It's currently 9:27 where I am. The US stock market opens up at 9:30. So I'll come back to talk about this so we can see a P&L update, but it's not so pretty on TLT. So I have one trade basically where I am bullish bonds, and that has completely evaporated all the profits that I had on that trade. But at the meantime, I've also got oil and gold. Both of them, I'm long on them and doing just fine on. So here's my two commodities trades. Gold and oil, they're really running right now. Just shy of 13,000 on gold and 9,000 on US oil. So we'll continue to try and let those run. Here's a quick update on gold here, by the way, guys. Gold, I probably got a trail stop on this one too. Let me check before I say that. Let me go look. So I took this trade off the daily chart. Yeah, I need to trail a stop on both trades. I need to trail a stop on gold. I'm going to move it up just here behind this level. And oil, I showed you where I need to trail stops as well. For those of you guys who are in the group, I will share that update in just a moment. Continue to trail out of these things until we finally hit profits on them. But these markets have just been so moving with so much momentum. The S&P 500 is down 0.8%. The NASDAQ is 1.18%. And again, US oil, I'm glad that, for the most part here, we haven't really been getting a ton of strong bullish reads on the indices. I'll be watching for that. I mentioned that I was watching the Dow Jones. It pulled back to a level, but I didn't get entered into the trade. So S&P 500 neutral. Gold, by the way, also neutral. What that tells me is just trail a stop and wait for profits to get hit. And then when it comes to NASDAQ actually -1. COT data looked terrible for the NASDAQ, by the way. Institutional money, check this out, guys. If you're watching indices, a lot of you guys trade indices. I know a lot of NASDAQ traders are in the room, a lot of Dow traders as well. Look at this. The NASDAQ on the latest COT filing had a significant shift in the bearish direction. So when we look at the change week to week, what we can see is big money picked up 14,168 on the short contract side of things. On the long contracts, they decreased their position by 4,100 blocks here, which is kind of crazy. Now, why is this significant? What are we looking at here? So newer traders who just joined into the stream for the first time ever, we're looking at the commitment of traders data, which we track using our software, the Edge Finder. What we're looking at is the commitment of traders data weekly filing. So we can see week to week what big money, that's an ambiguous term, but the point is, what I mean by that is hedge funds, speculative groups, banks, large money managers. These groups, they have to file in the United States, and we as the consumer can actually see that data. Now, we do get it a bit delayed, so you're not getting like minute-to-minute position changes from institutional money, but this is a weekly filing, and this weekly filing is made available to us in the commitment of traders data, which is a terribly hard to read text file. So my company, A1 Trading, we build software tools that scrape all that data in and make it easy to consume for traders who want to see what institutional money is doing. That is one of the tools that our software, the Edge Finder, allows traders to do easier. So NASDAQ, they sold, the pound they sold, the Canadian dollar they sold, the Nikkei they sold. What did they buy? They bought gold, they bought some SPX, little SPX movement there, some big shifts in the long contracts. They did also increase shorts as well, but they increased a lot more longs. Swiss franc, Bitcoin as well. Interesting. Bitcoin is in the mix. We can see that. And here's their long-term kind of net positioning: gold, oil, silver. This is part of the reason, not the only reason, but part of the reason I personally am still long these things myself in my own account. In terms of top setups, I'll go back to this really quick. On the sell side, we still think pound USD is in the picture, pound Aussie. The Nikkei is actually getting a bearish read. Huge. I got to look at the Nikkei. That's really interesting here. So we'll come to that here in just a second. The Australian dollar, pound CAD, euro dollar, Kiwi dollar. So these are your more bearish assets on the list right now. Let's keep moving. Look at this, guys. We're actually seeing some sell-off in the indices, at least for now. I mean, the morning here, New York session getting started, NASDAQ is down 1.22%. And if you're asking me, Nick, where are you buying these things? I couldn't give you an answer right now, because again, the software here, which I use for my confirmations, we're not getting anything for indices right now. So until we round out and we find some signals from the edge finder, I think we have room to sell off on this. If you're watching the NASDAQ, we're hitting a trend line right now. And if that closes underneath, shout out to Tori Trade. She loves this, like the trend line break signals that can generate. If you get something like that, right, we could see a little bit more of a continuation downwards. That being said, that's also asking the market to prove it, right? Because we're hitting a trend line, we're hitting a support level. We'll see how the market reacts to this level. We could just bounce right off this and be back up at the highs. It's totally possible, but I think that the market is due for a bit more of a correction. I do not have any trades in terms of shorting the NASDAQ or the S&P. I don't have any longs open on the S&P or the NASDAQ, but I'm just kind of, I'm what's the word? I'm like watching, I'm spectating for now. Is it better than Black Friday? It is the same discount as Black Friday. Again, it is our biggest sale, and I'm not kidding about this. This is our biggest sale of the year. So if you've been thinking about getting a copy, do not wait. You won't get a better price. In fact, I'll speak transparently too. By the time Black Friday rolls around this year, the Edge Finder, there's a good chance the price is higher. We're just adding so much to the tool. We're creating so many new features, and with our costs increasing as well, the price usually goes up. So again, I'm not even as a sales pitch, candidly, it's probably the best chance to get the lowest price you can this year. Okay, so let's talk about the dollar. Here's your next thing here. The dollar index is coming down on the same day that the indices are coming down a little bit. That's kind of interesting. Now, what are yields doing? Yields are up. Look at this. I could have told you that because my TLT position. Oh, I want to show you guys my TLT position. Can I see my TLT position? Has it updated in P&L? Okay, that's wonky. Hold on. Sometimes when the stock market is opening up, WeBull, in terms of options quotes, I think you have to get like live. I don't have live, like real-time options price quotes, I think, which is not really like imperative. I'm not like day trading options. It's very much swing trading, longer term stuff. But that being said, yeah, there we go. Okay, it just updated. Okay, so I am floating. Did you guys see that? Like, what is going on with this? Webull's options are so strange sometimes. Ignore this. This is the number we want to look at. So I've had my win streak might have just been cut here, guys. I've got two positions. I've added a new one. XLY, I sold puts. TLT, I sold puts. Both of those looking not so hot here today. So while gold and oil continue to rip, that's great. FXI doing great as well. I also now have two losers in my mean reversion strategy, which is TLT and XLY. The dollar index is pulling back here. Here's a 4-hour chart. It's been in a pretty solid uptrend here recently. Daily chart, however, we've just crested. We just beat out this level of resistance. The question is, was this enough of a breakout on the dollar index to really, create solid footing for bulls to continue higher? I don't know, because here's the thing. If you get like a fib level, right? This is a trick I like to use. Let's just say from this push, right? For there to be a 38.2% retracement, we probably would have wanted at least a breakout up to like 105.5, let's call it, for this 38.2 to be a very attractive fib level for a lot of traders. That's just a trick I like to use. It's not like a hard science or anything like that, but I'm talking about people often wonder, did we really break out of this level? I would say probably not. Sure, we traded slightly above it, but we didn't definitively break it, where I would say we definitively broke that level if we hit like 105.58, because that would say if you got that break, then you got a pullback, you're looking at a pretty attractive move, right? I care. I'm always learning. BMac, appreciate you. Thanks for anybody who stuck around through my options trading stuff. I'm very aware. I as a content creator, I see the analytics behind everything that we post. Option stuff doesn't usually get as much attraction, and that's okay. I don't talk about it as much on my channel. If you want more option stuff, I would encourage you to join our Discord. I share it all the time. EU, nice candle up. Let's take a look at the euro dollar here. Good old EU. What's going on with the euro today? Here's the 4-hour chart. Let's see. Do we have anything? Let's go major currencies really quick. Take a look at the good old fashioned major currency pairs. USD CAD getting bullish reading. That's new. Pound USD bearish reading. Kiwi dollar. So I want to look at these two, right? Actually, these three. So the only three currency pairs that are getting a strong enough reading on the edge finder right now. Euro USD is getting a neutral, so it's leaning bearish. It's close to bearish. A -4 is almost a -5, which is a bearish reading on the algorithm. So let's go look at these three really quick. For currency traders, we're going to look at USD CAD really quick. This is a bullish read. So for me, I'd be looking for, bullish setups. Probably not really interested unless you get a breakout here, right? Breakout pullback could be interesting on dollar CAD as long as it continues to have that edge finder scoring confirmation. Let's look at pound USD. This is one that I'm actually kind of interested in. Pound USD, really strong break to the downside here. And we could probably get a little bit more in depth here. Take a look at like this 4-hour chart. So that 50% looks pretty good. So we're looking at the 4-hour chart, guys, and I'm going to switch this to a supply level. So for those of you who are watching the pound, I'm just going to delete this level. It's kind of irrelevant to the 4-hour setup here. So 4-hour chart looks actually pretty good. If you do get a bit of a reversal here or a bit of a pullback, that 50% retracement looks pretty interesting to me on the pound USD. Looking left, we have two pivot spots here. But more important than the technicals, like I said, as always, the edge finder is way more valuable in my opinion, than the technical chart. Technical chart can be really deceiving, really misleading. And if it doesn't have like a fundamental bias, I'm really not very interested. So that being said, pound USD, why is it getting a fundamental bearish lean? Well, look at the economic data, guys. Look, so let's go through it really quick. GDP favors the US. Manufacturing PMIs, we know that favors the US because yesterday you had super strong US PMI data for manufacturing. Services, about flat, not a strong bias there. Retail sales heavily favors US. Inflation, the inflation situation favors being bullish the dollar over the pound right now. Employment change favors the US. My point with showing you guys this is that when we take trades, we're not trading it just because you had a fancy chart pattern, right? We're looking for fundamental stories, real economic data that could drive this currency pair one way or the other. So if you're watching the pound, I like the sell side. The edge finder's been calling for sell setups on pound USD for some time. In fact, just to show you, let's go test that theory. When did the edge finder first start being bearish pound USD? Okay, your first bearish signal for pound USD, remember we -5 or greater to the downside, March 22nd. Okay, so let's go test March 22nd. This is the historical, by the way, so historical score indicator for the edge finder. You can find this under EF score indicator. Okay, March 22nd was right here. Okay, so right around this area, the edge finder shifted bearish, which of course, after this big move, you might say, oh, the edge finder missed that big move. But I don't really care to make every single move be like you don't have to catch every single move. The point is it got bearish here. I think that was actually a very, very good signal, right? Because it progressed, it gave you some time here, waited a little bit, consolidated, but then it's broken to the downside beautifully. And again, what got it to be strong to the bearish side? The fundamentals, as we just walked through, right? The economic data started leaning heavily towards the US dollar over the pound. In terms of gold scoring, still neutral. But again, I've got positions from when the edge finder was bullish. I've pointed this out. We can always play around with this. I love this indicator. I can go to gold here and show you guys the initial bullish setup from gold was February 24th. So I'm still in those trades. So I've been in that trade for some time. Obviously that's over a month now that I've been trading gold. I took two different gold entries. my first trade was back right around what the edge finder first signaled. Then the edge finder surfaced another setup over here. You can see there's buy number 2, buy number 1, buy number 2. Here's GLD, just to show you guys I'm not just saying things. This is my real position on a live US regulated brokerage. I don't show that to brag. I showed it just to be transparent. I will also show you when things are going poorly. Again, I like to balance it out, and I don't like to just show you just the good stuff. So let me show you some rough stuff here this morning. XLY is probably really moving against me. So yeah, look at this. XLY, I sold puts yesterday, worst possible timing. In fact, if Frank can hear me right now, he should feel so glad, because he was thinking about selling a vertical on Nike, vertical puts, I guess, something that was, he probably has such a better opportunity to do that today than I did. Because look at this. Look, there's Nike down 1.3%. So he missed that completely. Frank was like, I'm going to wait. And he made the right decision, and I made the wrong one, because I sold XLY shortly before the close yesterday, which ended up being just the worst possible timing ever, because look what happened. The market dropped here on XLY, another 1.76%. But you know, I'm fine with it, because if the market keeps dropping, I would actually love that, because then I could get filled in some of the positions that I've been waiting on the sidelines for. XLY is an area of the market that I kind of like. It's the consumer discretionary. I mentioned this earlier, but yeah. What is the VIX? It's a volatility index for the options market. It's kind of a complicated explanation, but in long story short, the VIX shows volatility and kind of by proxy fear in the market. So yeah, Edge Finder is actually early for swing traders. It can be really, really good stuff. I'm telling you, it is not always right. Again, show you a loser right now. Let's go look at US 10Y. This was part of the reason. So look at this. Here's an example of a trade that's not going so hot for me. I sold puts on TLT, essentially by proxy, a bullish position on bonds. And you can see that this one is not looking so hot. Down another 1.10% today. So this one, not such a great signal from the Edge Finder. So again, and I show that just because I don't want to come across as like, oh, I'm only ever right, because nobody is always right. I am wrong, and I have losing streaks just like every other trader on planet Earth. The other one, so XLY, TLT, both of those not going so hot. Oil pulling back a little bit here. Look at this. Oil had a huge jump in the pre-market here, up 1.5%, now giving back 0.9%. Oil is very volatile. I have mentioned that I need to trail a stop. I'm going to go ahead and do that here. News in just a few minutes though, so let me be quick about this. I'm going to trail my stop loss on USO. So from my initial entry, my stop loss is going 82.44. That is 2.19%. 2.19% into profit. So let me go ahead and adjust that. 2.19% is going to put me at 78.14. There it is. I'm going to go ahead and trail this stop, guys, for those of you who are in the room, the Discord. All right. Initial reaction, nothing too significant. Euro dollar back near highs of the day. S&P, look at that, NAS fresh low on the day. Gold near the highs. Let's see what the number was. Expecting 8.76 million job openings. Let's see what we get. German CPI, oh, that's interesting. Okay, came out pretty much actually as expected, 8.76, which is matching forecasts here. The market reaction here so far, the dollar index down slightly here, NASDAQ down, S&P down, US 30 down, Euro taking out the highs here, Pound USD taking out the, well, not the highs, but pulling back slightly off the highs. And gold still resting up there around 2265, really, really making its move. Commodities are just really hot right now. Meanwhile, indices are selling off. So we'll see. We'll see if that can continue to be the case. I would love it to be, because again, that's kind of what I'm positioned for. but we will have to see.
Did you know we do a live trading show Monday through Friday with guests from all over the world? To get notified when we go live, click the bell button next to the subscribe button or check in at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have helpful, free content in the description below and on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you tomorrow.